I'd like to share a song with you. This song also takes place along a coastline, as the story Squishy Rotten Plums was along the coast of the South Island of New Zealand. This song I wrote on the northern coast of Spain. And years ago, when I first met my wife, we were living on the northern coast of Spain, and much of that northern coast is an escarpment, or it's like a cliff, and it runs for hundreds of miles. And where the rivers from the mountains have pushed their way through and carved their way down to the ocean, there are small beaches with often cliffs on either side. Big boulders over the years have fallen from those cliffs, and you can climb on those rocks right by the ocean. And one of the critters that is around there a lot are the crabs. And crabs, if you recall, are crustaceans, which are a class of arthropods, that big phyla of animals with outside skeletons and jointed body parts. Well, crabs, they've got those big old claws and those legs and those hard shells and their eyeballs that stick up on those stalks. And sometimes when I would go exploring on the rocks, the crabs, apparently with those eyeballs, would sense the presence of movement. Probably they're, instinctively sensing that it's a predator, and they would just go scrambling over those rocks. Sometimes they'd jump off and leap from those rocks and fall down into the water. Well, one day, walking along, thinking about being on those rocks with those crabs, it prompted me to write this little song. And, oh, by the way, the ocean on the northern coast of Spain is the Cantabrican Sea. And maybe sometime you might even have a chance to go there. It's a beautiful place. The song goes like this. This is a song of what happened to me while living in Spain by the Cantabrican Sea. It all took place on the northern coast, so close to France that we ate French toast. There was a beach with high cliffs and rocks. There was no harbor, nor was there dock. I walked one morning to enjoy the sun, not looking for trouble, but exploring for fun. While climbing on fallen rocks and boulders, a funny, strange feeling kept tugging my shoulders. Could see creatures be watching me. I looked around at what it might be. But there was nothing to be nervous about until my boot got stuck and it wouldn't come out. That's when the crabs crawled from everywhere, from crevice and crack, with those round eyes that stared. They crawled and they slid all over the rocks, clamping their pinchers. I was almost in shock. Would I be eaten by crabs in the sun, when all I wanted was to have a little fun? One crab was bigger than all the rest. He looked at me as if I were the best seafood that he might ever eat, compared to the algae and the crud on his feet. I yanked and I pulled at my shoe in the rocks. I tried to slip out from inside of my socks. The crab crawled closer, his claws reaching out. They closed on my leg and I started to shout. Why me, why me? I cried and I screamed. Shook me so badly I awoke from my dream. The crab was gone, I was alone in my bed. Crabs are just crabs, it was all in my head. Muchas gracias. Share a finger snapping song with you now. This song is about frogs. The story I shared with you in this program was by the ocean, and then the song, the Cantabrican Sea, took place by the sea or the ocean. Now we're going to go to a much smaller body of water, which is the pond. And I've been very fortunate. I've always kind of had a pond nearby. The house we live in now, there's a pond right out there. We can hear the frogs. And thinking about frogs and thinking about animals and trying to group them. We talked before about the large groups of animals that are called phyla, and the animals that have those outside skeletons and the jointed body parts we said was the phyla Arthropoda. And then the phyla, the big group, is broken down into classes. If you take the Arthropoda, one class is insects, and we know, like the butterfly, the monarch, its insect has 6 legs. Then there are there's the class of arachnids we think of as spiders, and then the crab was in the class Crustacea. Well, now, if we take all the animals with backbones, that's the phyla Chordata. And then all the animals, that phyla is broken into classes. One class you might think of are the fish, because they have backbones. Another class of animals with backbones are birds, the aves. Another class are the amphibians, like frogs and newts. And then, of course, the mammals, which is the class that we're in, Mammalia. Well, the frogs, of course, where that monarch butterfly, its life has 4 stages. It goes from the egg to the larva, the caterpillar, to the pupa, which was the chrysalis or the cocoon, and then the adult. Well, amphibians, like frogs, they just have 3 life phases. They have the egg, and then they turn into that tadpole or the pollywog that lives in the water, and then it climbs out, and of course, in the changes it goes through to become the frog. Anyway, this is the frog song. Now, it's got a little bit of a jazzy beat to it. I'm going to share the chorus with you that you can share with me. And we're going to snap those fingers, and the chorus goes like this. All right, one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I think you've got it. We'll start with the chorus, and then I'll share the verses. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Once there was a frog who was a friend of mine. Oh, lived in a pond that he thought was fine. His needs were met, and his woman was sublime. And then one day the catfish said, "Oh, would you like to swim instead?" The frog said, "No, thank you. I like it right where I am." It's not that I don't want to swim with you, but your teeth are big and they like to chew. So why don't we just sit here and talk a while? You see, Mr. Fish, my mama told me once, "Son, someone somewhere can make you lunch. You can't expect the sunshine every day." My mind might be slippery and my skin's all wet, but I often try to do my best to understand life in this old pond today. Hit it. Thank you. To end my session with you this morning, I'm going to share a magic trick. And please remember that as a storyteller, whether I like it or not, it's my obligation in the old ancient tradition to close a session with magic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a napkin that came from a very nice restaurant. I brought it home just because it was such a nice napkin that I thought maybe I could find some uses for it. And of course, one is the magic, another is scratch my mustache. You know, I could clean my glasses and those kinds of things, but really the magic is that I'm going to take this napkin, and it's, you know, this is no lightweight thing. It's not going to float up in the air. You let it go, it's only going down. Except the magic today is I'm going to keep this heavy napkin suspended in the air without the use of my hands. You may find that hard to believe, but it's magic. So here we go. Please observe. No wire. Still no trapdoor. Nothing in my hands. Nothing up my sleeve. Nothing up that pant leg. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Rogers, storyteller, author, magician, is going to turn around. And when I turn back around, this very nice napkin is going to be suspended in the air without the use of my hands. You will never see this again in your entire life. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the magic works, doesn't it? See? Yeah.